if you're wanting to fix your brakes on your bike, I would suggest not jumping straight to bleeding, because bleeding is a very specific problem. If your brakes are feeling awfully spongy, there's a good chance you will need to bleed them, but that's not the only thing you can do to try and save your brakes, because bleeding is a very time consuming and, well, annoying task. So if you can avoid it, I'd suggest trying to avoid it. So I'm going to show you a few things you can do to try and fix your brakes without the need to bleed. Oh, that was quite catchy. So here's my list of things to try to fix your brakes without the need to bleed. That's so good. Wow, I came up with that on the spot. So now we have the bike up on a stand, and the first thing we're going to try is cleaning the rotors. We're going to use these, which are glasses whippets. You need to make sure you get the alcohol ones and not the, well, the other one, like the silicone one, because the silicone one will make your brakes worse and these will make it better, hopefully. So we're going to tear off one of these. Oh, isn't that not satisfying as I thought? We're just going to pinch it round the rotor and simply spin the rotor, being extra careful not to get your fingers caught in the middle bits. Now when you've got your dirty cloth, simply dispose of it. Obviously go and put it in the bin. We're going to move on to the front wheel, so it's exactly the same process. I'm going to skip over it. So, on to step number 2. Step number 2 in fixing the brakes without the need to bleed is take the disc pads out. First of all, you're checking them to make sure you still have disc pads, brake pads, disc pads. Make sure you still have brake pads. And second of all, you're going to see how smooth they are. If they're very smooth, you might want to rough them up with a bit of sandpaper, which is what I'm going to do. So, let's get the brake pads out. On the top here, you'll see we have a little Allen key bolt, and this is what's holding the pads in just now. I forgot to mention that in the process, you need to take off this little thing, which you can maybe see in my hand. This is a little kind of brake retainer. This just stops it coming off when you're on the trail. So now, simply pull out the Allen bolt, and I'd suggest putting this in the same place that you put your little brake retainer. Once that bolt is removed, you can grab the silver bit and pull directly upwards with a small wiggle, and the pads will come out. At this point you can have a little check off the pads. As you see, I've still got plenty of pad left. So what we're going to do is give these a bit of sanding. So when you're at this stage, we've got the pads here. You can choose to wet sand or dry sand. I'm going to choose to wet sand because I just feel it's nicer. It not only cleans the sandpaper a bit, but also, you know, as I said, it just makes it nice. And then simply put your pad on, move it back and forth. You don't need to do it much, obviously. Just try and put a nice equal pressure on. It's kind of roughed up it a bit. You don't get as many lines horizontally on it because we've kind of scoured them off. So I'm going to give this a tiny bit of a bigger sand, and then we're going to do the same to all the other pads on the bike. After you've sanded your pads, I'd suggest hitting them with a little spray of water. So it's just getting some of that loose pad off, and that's really all you need. These can go back on the bike. So we're going to drop them in, a little bit of wiggling, and it should just go right back in, and simply tighten this up the opposite way that you loosened it. So now that the brake has been cleaned, at least the rotor's been cleaned, and the pads have been sanded, the only other thing that we can do is adjust the position, making sure that the disc is directly in the middle of the two pads. So looking through it, I can see that the left pad has quite a big gap, whereas the right pad is pretty flush with the disc. So what I'm going to do is just loosen James Crivens. This is a tight bolt. Also loosen the front one, and once this bolt and this bolt are loosened, or just whatever ones, you'll notice that you can move the caliper around. So now is the time to get it in the middle. I'm actually going to use the pull a brake trick, I've decided. Now pull the brake lever a couple times, hopefully it'll move a little bit. There you go. So now I'm just going to hold the brake lever in and tighten up the bolts. I can see that the rotor is central between the two pads. So that concludes my video on how to fix your brakes without the need to bleed. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more bike tips and tricks and tutorials, then hit that subscribe button. If you want to see another bike video, then you can click down here. And if you want to watch my whole bike playlist, you can click right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.